Hey there guys, today I am back with something really cute and beautiful for you. I love this card. It's soft and sweet and actually quite simple to do, but I'm going to step you through, so let's get our bits and pieces together. You're going to be using the Forever Blossoms stamp set. Now this is from our new Occasions catalogue. Well, it's not called Occasions anymore. It's called just really a mini catalogue now. And this is out January. It came out in January 2020 and will run until the end of May. And you'll find this particular set right near the front on pages 14, 15, and actually 16 and 17 as well. It's a big suite. It's a double suite with 2 stamp sets, matching framelits, beautiful, beautiful embossed papers, a gorgeous embossing folder, and some other little bits and pieces that I'm going to show you today. So that's what that's all about. Absolutely beautiful. And I think you will agree it makes beautiful cards. Look at that. Okay, so first up, let's start. We need a piece of Whisper White thick cardstock. And I have just, I'm just going to fold my card base in half. So this is half a sheet of paper folded in half. In Australia we use A4, so it's half a piece of A4 cut in half and then folded in half again. And in the US you use US letter paper, you'll be cutting that in half and folding it in half as well to make your basic card base. To flatten it down so it has a good flat appearance and a sharp crease, just use your bone folder over the corner there. Okay, that's ready to go. I can set that to one side. We'll come back to that later. And then we're starting with a piece of Petal Pink cardstock. Now this Petal Pink cardstock has been measured. I'll put the measurements once again up for you. But it's measured so it just fits inside our folded card front. So you have a little bit of a border all the way around. And then I'm using a piece of champagne foil. Now, I love foil papers. Foil papers and glimmer papers, just love them all the time. This one, you might be able to see here, has been embossed with the gorgeous Parisian Flourish embossing folder. And I have the embossing folder right here. It's one of the 6x6 ones, absolutely beautiful. It is 3D, so it is the thicker variety. And to emboss this, you'll just pop your paper inside. Doesn't really matter where it goes, just anywhere in there. And then the sandwich that you'll need for the big shot, you will need the 3D plate that goes with this, the embossing plate. In the catalogue, you'll see it is just over here. Not very far in. I'm just trying to find, I should have had that page already to go. There it is, page 11, 3D embossing folder plate. In Australia it's $17.50, but check with your demonstrator wherever you are. The price may be different depending on your market. So this is actually going to go, so all it is, you're going to be using your very base plate, open up your platform or have no other piece on the very bottom platform. You pop this straight on it with no clear plates and then the 3D embossing plate over the top and run that through. Okay, that's how easy that is to do. And I shall also be using, I'm going to also stamp this piece here, so I'll do both through my big shot at the same time. I've already got the Cherry Blossom stamp from the beautiful Forever Blossoms set. Isn't it gorgeous? And today I'm going to give it a slightly different treatment. Now this is actually one of my favorite techniques. It's probably hard to see here, but I've actually got 2 different colors coming through in my stamping here, and that's because I've used my Stampin' Write markers. These are a great tool, very similar to actually using an ink pad. It's just in a more portable form, and you're able to get into smaller spaces. So I usually use my paintbrush end. You'll see there's a thick line here and a thin line here, which gives you a big end and a little end, like a line drawing end like a pen, and the other one's more like a brush. So I'm actually going to go across and I'm going to use my early espresso Stampin' Write marker, and I'm just colouring in the flowers. I'm colouring in the flowers, and I'm going to colour the stems and the leaves in the Mossy Meadow green. So I'm just doing the flowers at the moment. I find if I lay my marker right down quite flat, it's very, very easy to just sort of swipe it over the flowers and give them a good colour. And it doesn't take very long to do. You don't have to worry about being really super precise with it. You just want to cover all your bits that are going to be stamped. Now I'm going to do exactly the same thing with the Mossy Meadow one, and I'm going to do the leaves and the stems. And I'm just making sure I give them a good old colour with the Mossy Meadow green. So it's like using an ink pad. Why would you do this? This way you can get multiple colours on the one stamp, rather than using an ink pad, which was just going to give you one colour. We're going to use the multiple colours, and that way we'll get a varied stamp colour on here. So I'm just going to pop this straight onto this piece of, I'm using shimmery white cardstock. You could use Whisper White or you could use vanilla, but I like shimmery white. It's a little bit off-white and it's got that beautiful shimmer to the surface of it. Okay, that's pretty good. You should be able to see that. Now, we could cut this out and then colour it, but because I think it's a little easier to colour before you cut, I'm going to actually use a sponge dauber and my Petal Pink ink, and I'm going to daub straight into that pink ink, and I'm just going to do like little circles around the flowers. Very quick and simple and easy. And because it's a dauber and you're sponging your ink, it's very soft. To get the little flowers, I actually turn it on its side a little bit, and I'm just gonna dab that colour on. If you go a little bit outside the lines, it doesn't matter too much because you're going to be cutting it out anyway. Thankfully not by hand, because we've got a framelit, a die for that. Okay, so that's done. Now, the framelits or the dies for these are absolutely beautiful. So you can see there's a whole bunch of them, different cherry blossoms and leaves and stems and all kinds of bits and pieces. And this one here perfectly cuts out this beautiful cherry blossom die. Isn't that lovely? So I'm going to run these two things through the embossing, through the Big Shot or through the embossing machine, because we don't actually have a Big Shot anymore. We just use, we do have a new machine coming, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to run this one through and I'm going to run this one through, and I'll be right back. Okay, so you should be able to see our piece of champagne foil is now beautifully embossed and ready to be used on our project. And also we can push out the stamped image from the die. You can see it cuts out beautifully. Saves you a bunch of time rather than having to sit there and cut it out by hand. There we go. A couple of little bits in the middle there to push out. And that piece is also done. So now we're going to put it all together, and it's actually quite simple from this point. We've got our Petal Pink Petal Pink cardstock, and then this little piece here is going to layer straight onto here, just like that. So I'll use some Tombow glue for that. I find that works really well with cardstock to cardstock or foil paper or glimmer papers. That works really well. I think I'd like it going this way. I like this little flower here. I think I want that sitting out the side. There we go. Right, so there's that one there. Now this piece here is going to go right here, just like that. Okay, now it's actually quite simple to do. You're going to be using dimensionals over the back of it. I used both the normal size dimensionals behind the larger part of my image, just like this. Probably another one there. And then some smaller ones, the mini dimensionals, were handy to pop up here on these smaller bits like these leaves. You can't really have too many dimensionals on something like this. Well, I guess everyone has their personal level of how much is too many dimensionals, but I find that having a reasonable number will keep it in place. Pull the backs off so that it's sticky. You can hopefully see how easy this card is to do. It's quite a simple one. And I'm going to pop that just so it pops out over the pink edge just a little bit there, just there like that. Now, I'm also going to use some more shimmery white cardstock, and I'm going to stamp with my early espresso powder. I could also use my markers again, but I'm going to use the Always and Forever here from the stamp set, which is right here. Pop that on a block. And we'll ink that up. And I'm just going to pop it here on the corner of my piece. As you can see, it's a beautiful font. It stamps lovely. Alright, now I also have my 2 1/4 inch circle punch, which is actually the largest one we have. Now, I'm not actually going to put this right in the middle. You'll have to excuse my little birdie. He's over there in the corner. He's a little cockatiel, and he likes to be heard. When he can hear my voice, he wants to be part of the action. So I'm actually putting it so that it's sort of to the right and down a little bit. And the reason why is because I'm going to be sliding this in under this edge, and I want to make sure that it's going to pop out. Okay. Just like that. Now, it doesn't really matter where this goes. You might find it easier perhaps to actually punch first and then stamp where you think you want to stamp, like test it first maybe. So like that. So yes, I would want it in this area, but not right up against the side, and not centered either. I might just stamp it one more time and see if I like the placement of this better. So to the right. I think this one might be better. Yeah, that's better. That's it. That's where I want it. I also used a pink dauber again, the same one as before, just to go around the edge of the circle. Now, I do like to have a bit of dimension on my cards. So normally I might put a sentiment up on dimensionals, but because my focal piece here is on dimensionals, I'm putting this down flat today. So one's up and one's down. So I'm just going to use some snail there. Is that the one? Yeah. There we go. Tuck that in there. That's nearly ready to go. We've only got a couple more things to add. I'm actually going to put this on the card base. So I'm going to use Tombow again for that. I just find Tombow really quick and easy. And you know what the main advantage of Tombow is that you have what I call wriggle room. So if I had put it on snail or tape on the back, once it's down, but this way I can make sure it's exactly where I want it and shift it into place after it's down. So that's kind of handy. Okay, final touches. We need a little bit of this beautiful petal pink metallic edge ribbon, and I'm just going to tie a little bow with that. So I should have my ribbon scissors handy, but I don't have them handy. They're actually over on the other table. So instead I'm just going to position this so you get an idea of what it's going to look like, and I would glue dot that on, so I'm still going to do that. And then trim that off where I want it. And very final touch, we've got these gorgeous champagne gems. What are they called? Champagne rhinestone basic jewels. And they're very similar to the other rhinestone jewels that we have, but you can, and it's probably easiest to take them off with the point of a pair of scissors rather than try and do it with your fingers, but I don't have those handy right this second either. Look how pretty they are. They are really almost like a rose gold colour, so they're perfect for these colours. I'm going to pop one in the middle of each of my little flowers here, because they just, to me, just finish it off. Whoop, there goes one. You can see why I should be using my take your pick tool, or I should be using my scissors to actually position those. A bit naughty. Pop the last one on there. I'm just doing the big flowers. I'm not worrying about the buds. Look how pretty that is. And I'll snip those off and I'm going to call that a finished card. I hope you love it. I do. I think this is a gorgeous card. If you'd like to purchase any of these items, everything you've seen me use today is available for purchase. And I hope that you will enjoy making this card as much as I did. Have fun with it, guys, and I'll be back with more for you soon. Don't forget to subscribe. Every time someone subscribes to my channel, it encourages me to come back with more stuff. So I will keep, as long as people are subscribing, I will keep producing things for you to see. Enjoy, guys. Bye-bye.